Okay, here's something to think about. What if your deepest beliefs about your own abilities, like what you think you're capable of, were the single biggest factor shaping your whole life?
Yeah, everything from your career, your relationships, your successes, even your failures.
It's a powerful question. And it's really the heart of Carol Dweck's book, Mindset, The New Psychology of Success.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So today, we're diving deep into this, well, really influential work. We'll explore how our basic beliefs about what Dweck calls fixed versus growth mindsets, how they really shape our achievements, our grit, how we grow.
And just so you know, you are experiencing a unique two-voice AI conversation powered by Google's NotebookLM, which allows us to get into deeper, more dynamic analysis of the book.
Right. And our mission here isn't just to give you the summary of Dweck's big idea.
No, we want to actually unpack how she manages to be so persuasive.
Right.
What makes the book click for so many people? What are those strategies she's using?
Okay, so let's start with the person behind it all, Carol Dweck. I mean, she's not just some opinion writer. Definitely not. She's a top psychologist, a professor at Stanford. Her whole career is focused on motivation, development, personality.
So her expertise, her reputation, that immediately gives her credibility, right? It makes you really listen.
Absolutely. That's strong ethos right there. And think about when the book came out, 2006.
Yeah, what was the context then?
Well, it felt like a direct answer to challenges people were seeing everywhere, in schools, in business, even in parenting. There was this sort of prevailing idea that talent or intelligence was just something you had or you didn't. Fixed.
And Dweck saw that as limiting.
Hugely limiting. She basically said, hold on, this fixed view is holding us back. She offered a completely different way to think about potential, a new paradigm, really.
And who is she talking to? Because this book seems to resonate everywhere.
Oh, the audience is massive. Teachers, parents, CEOs, coaches. Honestly, anyone just interested in getting better, personally or professionally. It has incredibly broad appeal.
So what's the core message she's trying to get across? What's her main goal?
Fundamentally, she wants to change how you think about your own abilities. Her big push is to convince you that adopting a growth mindset, this belief that you can develop your intelligence and talents through effort, through learning, through persistence.
That's the path to greater success and, well, just feeling better about life.
Precisely. And she contrasts that vividly with the fixed mindset, the idea that your qualities are just carved in stone. She shows how that belief actually holds you back, limits what you think you can do.
So the book explores the theory, but it's practical too.
Very practical. She backs everything up with tons of research, psychological studies, but also these really compelling case studies and stories from sports, business, classrooms, real-life examples.
And the way she writes it, it doesn't feel heavy or academic.
Not at all. The tone is super engaging. It's motivational, optimistic, really. You read it and you feel this sense of hope, like, yeah, I can change.
It feels empowering, like she's talking directly to you about your potential.
Right. It really does. Which brings us to how she makes her case so effectively. Let's talk about those tools of persuasion. First off, her credibility, her ethos.
We touched on that Stanford professor, years of research.
Right. But it's more than just her title. She consistently draws on her own specific psychological research throughout the book. She shows you the studies, the data.
So it's not just theory, it's evidence-based.
Exactly. She's like, look, we've studied this for decades. Here's what we found. And she pulls in data from all over, kids learning math, top athletes dealing with setbacks, CEOs leading companies.
Adds weight to it. Does she bring in other voices too?
She does. She references findings from other fields, includes endorsements from other respected professionals. It all layers up to build this really solid foundation of trust.
Okay, so the logic and credibility are there. But the book feels more than just logical. It connects emotionally.
Oh, absolutely. Pathos. She's brilliant at using stories, really personal, powerful stories of people overcoming huge obstacles because they shifted their mindset.
Like the student examples.
Yeah, or the athletes who use failure not as an endpoint, but as like information, as fuel. These aren't just dry examples. They really toll you in. You feel inspired. You feel empathy.
And you start reflecting on your own life, right? Your own struggles and successes.
Totally. You think, wow, I felt that, or I've seen that fixed mindset in myself. And her overall tone, it's so positive, so reassuring. It makes you feel hopeful, like change is genuinely possible for you.
It taps into that desire we all have for self-improvement, I think. Makes it feel achievable.
Exactly. And this is crucial. It's not just emotion. She anchors everything in solid logic. Logos.
How does she do that?
Well, she presents the research findings clearly. She makes these really logical comparisons between the two mindsets, showing the cause and effect. Like, if you think this way, fixed, here are the likely outcomes. If you think this way, growth, here are the different likely outcomes.
So the clear framework.
Very clear. And the structure of the book helps build that logic too. It's systematic.
How's it?
She starts by defining the mindsets. What are they? Then she goes into the impact. Where do you see these playing out? Education, business, relationships. And finally, the practical part. How do you actually cultivate a growth mindset? What are the steps?
That makes sense. It leads you through it logically. Definition, impact, action.
Right. And all along the way, she's using those case studies, that data, as concrete proof points. It's a really well-constructed argument.
Let's talk a bit more about her actual writing style. You said it's accessible.
Super accessible. The language is conversational, very down to earth.
Yep.
She avoids overly technical jargon, which is great because it opens the door for, pretty much anyone to grasp these quite deep psychological ideas.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like you need a PhD to understand it. And the sentences flow nicely.
Mm-hmm. She mixes it up. Sometimes it's straightforward explanation. Other times she poses these reflective questions directly to you, the reader. It keeps you engaged, keeps it from feeling like a lecture.
It's more like a conversation.
Exactly. And she's just a master storyteller. Those anecdotes we mentioned, Michael Jordan, students, CEOs, they aren't just filler. They make the abstract concepts completely vivid and relatable.
You see the mindset in action.
Precisely. It's not just theory. It's how real people live and work.
Another thing I notice is how often she contrasts the two mindsets, puts them right next to each other.
Yes. That juxtaposition is a really powerful technique she uses throughout. Fixed mindset response versus growth mindset response to the same situation.
It makes the differences incredibly stark, doesn't it?
It really does. It appeals to your logic. You see the different paths, but also your emotion, because you often recognize yourself or others in those descriptions. It really highlights the choice you have in any given moment.
She also seems to repeat key ideas quite a bit. Is that deliberate?
Oh, definitely. Strategic repetition. Concepts like embracing challenges, seeing effort as the path, learning from criticism, that idea of not yet.
Ah, yes, not yet, instead of I can't.
Exactly. She circles back to these core tenets again and again in different contexts. It really helps to drill those key messages home, makes them stick.
And the overall structure, moving from theory into different life areas, school, work, sports, relationships.
Yeah, that structure is smart too. It shows the universal applicability of the concepts. It's not just about one thing. Mindset impacts everything. And organizing it that way makes it easy for you to find the sections most relevant to your own life or challenges.
Within those sections, too, you see that contrast again, fixed thinking versus growth thinking.
Constantly. It really hammers home the difference in approach and outcome.
And underpinning it all is this, very motivational feel.
Absolutely. She uses a lot of direct address talking right to you. Phrases like, you can change your mindset. There are clear calls to action. It's very future-focused language, all aimed at encouraging you to actually do something to make that shift.
It really is quite compelling how she pulls it all together. Makes you want to try it.
It does. And, speaking of digging into transformative ideas and inspiring that kind of reflection, if you enjoy this type of deep analysis, you might want to check out Mindful Moments.
On our YouTube channel.
Exactly. It uses AI, much like this conversation, to offer deeper book analysis specifically designed to spark reflection and rational thought. It's a great resource for continuing this kind of exploration.
Good suggestion.
Yeah.
Because reflecting on Dweck's book, it's amazing how those techniques, the stories, the logic, the tone, really work on you as a reader.
They absolutely do. You don't just passively receive the information. You feel actively engaged and, frankly, motivated.
So how effective is she overall? Does she achieve her purpose?
I'd say exceptionally effective. People don't just read this book, they use it. She succeeds in both motivating readers and giving them actual practical tools for change.
And the tone, the evidence, it works for different people, like academics and just regular readers.
Yeah, that's one of its strengths. It's grounded in solid research, which satisfies the more skeptical or academic reader, but it's presented in a way that's totally accessible and relevant for a general audience. She really nails that balance.
The core argument holds up.
Very much so. It's consistently backed by the research she presents. The case studies are compelling illustrations, and the reasoning is clear and logical throughout.
And it feels ethical, like the advice is sound.
Yes, it's rooted in positive psychology. The focus is on growth, resilience, learning, all very positive and, I'd argue, ethical goals for personal development.
Now, does she acknowledge any downsides? Or is it presented as a cure-all?
That's a really important point, and something that adds to the book's sophistication. She does address limitations. She's careful not to present the growth mindset as, like, a magic wand.
How so?
Well, she acknowledges situations where just trying harder isn't the answer. Think of toxic relationships, for example, or maybe systemic barriers where individual mindset alone isn't enough.
So she adds nuance. It's not oversimplified.
Yeah, exactly. That nuance is crucial. It shows she's thought deeply about the complexities and avoids making it sound like everything is purely down to individual mindset, which wouldn't be realistic or fair. It respects the reader's intelligence, I think.
And she applies it broadly.
Across the board, education, business, sports, personal life. This breadth, with tailored examples for each, really reinforces the idea that this is a fundamental aspect of human psychology, relevant everywhere.
Okay, so wrapping up then. Dweck uses this blend of accessible language
Solid scientific backing, these really resonant stories.
to persuade a huge range of people about the power of adopting a growth mindset.
Yeah, she makes a compelling case that changing this core belief about your abilities can genuinely transform your life.
It's more than just an argument.
Mm.
The book itself feels like a catalyst for that change. It really gets you thinking and wanting to act.
Absolutely. It's designed to spark that shift.
And if you want to keep exploring ideas like this, definitely check out Mindful Moments and our other podcasts. Lots more thought-provoking content there.
Great reminder.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. If your mindset truly can be changed, what belief are you holding on to right now? About yourself, maybe about the world, that might actually be limiting your potential.
Something to ponder.
If this deep dive sparked your curiosity or gave you some new insights, please subscribe to our show.
And maybe share it with someone you think might benefit from exploring the power of mindset.
You can find a link to buy Carol Dweck's Mindset, The New Psychology of Success, right in the description.
And most importantly,
Keep thinking critically about the beliefs that shape your world.